the criticism of Blake and Aldridge justify that they're kind of ring chasing on this bandwagon of the Nets?
Yeah, it is, because here it is, Molly. Like, these are not guys that were role players on the team, on another team, and came over to join the Brooklyn Nets. Like, when I was at the tail end of my career, I've been a role player all my life. But at the end of my career, I knew I wasn't getting minutes, but I wanted to get on the team that I could win a championship with. It was different. I knew I wasn't getting in the game. I knew I had to be a locker room guy, the ultimate professional, a veteran leader. It was a difference for me because I was a role player. These are two guys that are former All-Stars, guys that got paid hundreds of millions of dollars, that probably had other options where they could go and actually contribute. We don't know how many minutes Blake Griffin is going to get. We don't know how many minutes LaMarcus Aldridge is going to get, but they're not going to be playing 25 to 20 minutes a night. We know that much. When the Nets are fully healthy, somebody is going to have to sacrifice some minutes. So what I'm saying is, they could have, I'm pretty sure they had other options and other teams that were reaching out to them that they could have went join, that they could have played a significant role of trying to compete and help and playing meaningful minutes to go win a title. So the criticism is fair. It is fair to say that. Now, I mean, hey, y'all on the team, good luck to y'all, but it is fair. It's fair.
I don't think that criticism is fair. I would say, Stephen A. pointed something out earlier. I would agree with this. Because I don't really think they move the needle, either guy at this point. I mean, they're live bodies, but that's about it at this point. Then it is sort of like they're buying a ring. Because the Nets, if they're healthy, they're going to win this year, everybody. I have bad news for you. They went through the Western Conference without KD, went 5-0 on a West Coast road trip without KD.
Right.
So once KD, so these dudes are purchasing rings. In that sense, you want to criticize them, fine. But I think of a dude like Andre Iguodala. Iguodala was miscast as the best or maybe second best player on a team in Philly. You ain't going to win a championship that way. But Iguodala was a legitimately great player. And if he's the fourth best dude on your team, you're going to win a championship. It's hard for players, I think, to recognize that, especially players in college. They're elite. They come out. They want to be MVP types, to say, wait a minute. Maybe that's not me in this league, but I can still be great. I'm looking right now at Aaron Gordon on Denver. Watch what happens. Not carry the team, but join this team and contribute. He could be great. Blake Griffin and LaMarcus Aldridge should not be criticized for the fact that they weren't good enough to be the number 1 or 2 guy on a championship team. That, to me, is not legitimate criticism. They played as well as they could.
Well, first of all, a couple of ththings. Number one, hold on, KP. I'll deal with him for a second. Here's a couple of things, Max Kellerman. Number one, I hear you saying repeatedly over the last couple of weeks that the Nets, are going to win the chip. Welcome to the party. It took you long enough.
I had to see them play together.
Congratulations, because even after they got James Harden and they had him with Kyrie and Kevin Durant, you were saying their defense was so awful.
That changed.
It's not going to happen. It changed.
It's a fluid list.
Did I not tell you that they could prove marginally, and that's all it required? That's all. Number one. Number two, I love how you mentioned a bit earlier that Giannis can't shoot contested jump shots. It took
you want to bring up old stuff.
I'm just saying.
You told me Harden couldn't run point for Houston.
No, I never told you that.
Yes, you did.
That is a lie.
That's on tape.
That is a lie.
Go find the tape.
I never said
when
that.
When D'Antoni made a point guard, you said, I don't like it. He's not a point guard.
I said I don't like it with D'Antoni because I know how D'Antoni does stuff. But that's fine. All right, I'll take that. You know what? You proved me wrong because I'll give credit to D'Antoni for that because he did something I didn't think he could do. Let me get to my point.
Bring up old stuff.
Let me get to my point about Blake Griffin and Aldridge. And KP, you know, none but love for you. No disrespect here, so please don't take it this way. Blake Griffin and LaMarcus Aldridge were once cornerstones of a franchise. You were an enforcer, a rebounder, a defender that played your role offensively. There is absolutely nothing wrong with somebody like you as age and attrition kicks in to go on a team to jump on a bandwagon. But somebody that was the cornerstone of a franchise, that went to Max, this very important point I'm about to bring up, that went to the negotiating table and demanded dollars of a cornerstone of a franchise, to suddenly find yourself where you're piggyback. Listen, you can say old, but I'm not sure about that. What I'm saying to you is this. Blake Griffin and LaMarcus Aldridge combined to take about $20 million less with their buyouts to end up on the Brooklyn Nets. I feel you on that. But what I'm saying is, again, it's not a criticism. I'm just saying that when I look at a team and I look at you as a player and you were once a star, If you descend to that point, usually people are telling you to retire, not to jump somewhere else to be able to say you got a ring when you spent the vast majority of your career collecting a check that
Perk.
said you can be the cornerstone of a franchise that ultimately captures a ring.
Perk,
That's the difference.
Perk, this is where
I want KP to respond to that point that I just made, Max.
Okay,
because
go ahead,
it's
Perk.
important. Go ahead, KP. What I just said, any issue with that?
No, not at all. Look, Stephen A., I was comfortable with who I was as a role player. I knew at the tail end of my career, I was a guy that was going to be on the end of the bench, averaging 2,500 claps a game. And I was okay with that. But you're right. And you take a guy like Carmelo Anthony, for example, right? I'm pretty sure he could have went set on somebody's bench and not get meaningful minutes and not get playing time. But he said, no, I want to play.
I can still play.
Hoop. I still can hoop at the age of 35, at the age of 36. Portland, give me a chance. And he's playing meaningful minutes. Man, I'm not saying anything is wrong with that. I'm saying that he is saying, I want to work for it. I still can contribute. I'm going to play 25 to 28 minutes a game.
I think that this is really about that we agree. Because I think what this is really about is people misinterpreting the message from the media and the fans, which is we're counting rings. So when I hear the argument, well, Robert Horry's got all these rings, that doesn't make him better than Michael Jordan. Well, no, of course not, because he wasn't the best player on his team. But it does say something about Robert Horry. And I think enough players have gotten that message that they're like, I better get a ring before I retire or I'm never going to hear the end of it. And so they'll pay money. They'll, like in a buyout, they'll lose money. Basically, they're buying a ring. I understand what you mean. These are not players that are going to move the needle for the Brooklyn Nets, really. But they get a ring out of it. I agree with. But that's different than saying. That's different than saying. Yeah, go ahead.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.